We go back to the, there we are. Are you ready to begin, Mr. Raj?
We are recording.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Hey, this is the Sunday night webinar. It's February 11th, 2018. Wow, February already. Hopefully the spring will be here soon. Anyhow, we're glad you're here, and I'm Gene Colbago.
And I'm Roger Carroll, somewhere
And we
in the
hope you have
neighborhood.
a few things. Hope have a few little things for you to pick up on tonight. You know, some of them, there may be some repetition of a few things that we've talked about before here tonight, but this week I've noticed I've gotten a couple, yeah, messages, emails, and about articles dealing with updates and so forth that I've gone in and looked at, and I thought, wow, you know, these are great things that people might want to be using. In fact, one of them, hopefully, uh, if you'll join us next Sunday, we'll be using it kind of in a way, and it's kind of easy. But before we get to that, let me just end the show here. Minimize this. My goodness, I try to get up to where I am. Okay, and where am I want to be? Okay, hey, here I am. Okay, again, Roger and I each have. Boy, that's the wrong page. I certainly did that wrong. Well, anyhow, uh, we'll have to do that when we get to it. This is again my webinar page where we have the webinars and so forth that you can check on, and I will be updating that so you can get to them. But anyhow, one thing I wanted to show you tonight, remind people of, because it just, I ran into it this week. We talked much about Office 365 and so forth and so on. And quite frankly, you know, this is the home where when you go to the login and sign in with your school login, and it takes you to the online versions. But there's an easier way to do that. Again, we've mentioned it once before, and I just wanted to remind you again. If you have and use Microsoft, excuse me, if you use Google Chrome browser, as Roger and I both, I think you use that, don't you, Raj?
Yes.
Okay, as Roger and I both do, I think. But anyhow, I do, and I you know, I've been using it for quite some time. You know, I'm kind of convinced it's the best one right now for me. And I know that other people use it, but it's a great one. But anyhow, we've talked many times about the various excuse me, about the various extensions, and those are little mini programs that can be installed into uh, the Chrome browser. And one of the ones is this one right here. It's called Office Online. And basically, you know, instead of having to go in and log in and so forth, once you've installed this and logged into it the first time, all you have to do is click on it, and you will be given basically the same view as your online Office 365. Yes, there are a few of the tools that are not there. The one that I was kind of hoping would be there is not there tonight that we'll show you, but it's pretty good. And you know, and if you need to use it, I mean, all you need to do is click on any one of these and it will open the program. There you are. You're in Word Online. Pretty simple. And you can get that very simply by going to the, going to the, I have something in my way, excuse me, to the web store, the Google Web Store. Web Store? Not going there? Okay. And typing in Office Online. And it will take you there. And you can find a lot of other good extensions that you can put in. We used to talk about the apps that were available. As you know, you can see that I have some apps here, but the apps are no longer available on the store, so you can't install them. Anyhow, really good. Hey, another good thing is, you know, most people, if I said, what search engine do you use? I think the large majority of you would answer, you know, the Google search engine. And it's a good search engine. The only thing is, it does collect information from you, so forth and so on. If you go looking for, say, a certain type of shoes, you know, something like that with Google, you can be sure that many of the websites you go to that have ads on them will have that same kind of shoe, because Google projects that forward, and they use that information to try to sell you stuff. If you get tired of that, there is another web search engine that we've talked about before, but this one is actually an extension also that you can use, and it's called, strangely enough, DuckDuckGo. Okay, and if you install this and then just click on it, it'll take you to this site that looks similar a little bit to Google, but we don't store your personal information ever. We don't collect or share any of your personal information. I feel a little bit better about that. We don't follow you around with ads, like I was just mentioning, that sometimes happens when you do some searching with Google, okay? We have nothing to sell to advertisers that track you across the internet, and we don't track you in or out of private browsing mode, okay? We don't track you, period. It's a pretty good search engine, and it's been very, very highly rated. And you might want to take a look at it sometime if you have not used it before, because it really brings back some good things. I'm not going to mess with it now, but again, you can go to the web store, and if you typed in DuckDuckGo there, okay, see, you will see that this will bring up that one. Now notice mine says rate it, mainly because I've installed it already, but I like that. And, you know, those, you know, little things. And this one's up there real quickly, so you can get at it very quickly. I like that very much. So I've been using that a little bit lately instead of Google, and you know, it's a pretty good search engine. You might want to try it out, and you might even want to promote it to your students in class. Okay. And so that was a couple of things I'd like to show you to really get started today. And the one thing that again, I talked to Raj this afternoon. We were talking before. You know, we keep saying each week there are updates to Office 365. I don't know, and Raj, I don't know about you, how the updates are going for the school accounts, whether student or teachers can update their, you know, home downloads. You know, if they downloaded Office 365 for their home computers, can they update them there? Do you know?
You can, yes, you can update them there, but you can't update your school laptop.
School laptops, okay. All right, because, you know, I've found out is, I've said many times, I have my own personal one as well. I don't know why I don't get rid of it, but I've kept it. And it's kind of interesting. It allows now, when you go to file, and we've talked about going to account, notice my office updates. I an Office Insider, and I get the new builds, the new office updates once or twice a week with this one. So it's kind of interesting that they're coming out with these updates so very, very often is the point I was trying to make. So boy, I wish that the school would make sure that the school laptops had the latest updates. But anyhow,
Yeah, well, it
because
is. We've talked about that, like you say, back and forth.
Mhm.
It's an issue that they're dealing with. It's not a
Yeah.
simple.
Oh, sure.
It's not
Oh,
a
yes, I
simple
understand
on and
that.
off
Yeah.
switch.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
servers involved, but it is a concern. And here, say we are trying to show people
Yeah.
the latest and greatest when the latest and greatest isn't available.
Yeah. And yeah, one of the articles that I read this week dealt with some updates to one of the tools called Forms that we've shown you, and I really, really enjoy and like. And I think it's a fantastic little simple tool that you can use with the students. The students would like very, very much. Here, you can create forms, which are like surveys, or you can create quizzes. This was a little quiz that I created. It took me about 5 minutes. And it's basically your thoughts on Microsoft Office. Notice, it's got, I think, 5 questions. Your name, of course. Which of the following do you use? What tool would you like to learn? Have you downloaded the Office program? And, have you visited the uh, web page that we have? Have you viewed any Office 365 videos on YouTube? And notice I've even put a video in there. This is the latest now. They're allowing, you can insert videos into the questions. And you say, well, what's so great about that? Well, what's nice about it is when you go to, let's see, I think I put it on this page just to have it out of the way, a website, well, I guess I didn't. I apologize. It's here somewhere. There it is. Look, you can actually put it on your school website and have the student answer right then and there. Okay? You can actually embed it into your website, and there are the questions they can answer, so forth and so on. It's that simple. And it's a really fun thing, get the kids involved in it. And it's really easy to do.
Gene, question.
Yes.
When you're in Forms and you've completed a form,
Yes.
and so you say you obviously it can be embedded. Is there?
Yes.
And there also is a link, correct?
You can do it a number of different ways. Absolutely. Let me go here. I'll show you. And once this is completed, I'm ahead of myself a little bit, but there's a share over here. You can click on share, and you can see the different ways that you can share. The QR, I did a QR, and I did put that on my web page. You can do the embed code. We could show that. It's a very simple thing. That was what I had done also, so that the students or you or whomever could actually respond to I'm sorry, somebody's trying to text there, to the questions right on the web page. They don't, they can just send it in there. Or if you do this, there it is, a link right there. You could copy this page, you could copy this right there. I know it's kind of long, and put it on a board and have the students go there.
Could you send me that link right now?
Okay.
To my school email.
I don't know what it's doing. It doesn't seem to be working, but It should. It's not sending message, and it's not sending. Well, you know what? I can do it in a different way, okay, real quickly. But anyhow, what I wanted to do was show how this can be done real quickly, if you don't mind. Let me just send this to Raj.
Well, it's going somewhere. My point here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's going to come back.
No, it did not copy. Huh? I didn't copy the dumb thing. I'm sorry. Where am I? Ah. I'm sorry. Hang on. I apologize.
I'm sorry to interrupt your.
No, but no. I know. Well, I'm Control C. Well, I mean, hey, you know, that should work. Control V. There we go. And there. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, anyhow, the question is how you do this thing in the first place. And it's so incredibly simple to do and to give to the kids. Again, they've added a few little things that make it even better. Let's start with a new quiz. I'm going to make it similar to the one that we just showed you, and I'm going to call it Office. Okay, 365 Part 2. Okay, so we have okay. Now, when you see over here, I can click on this. I can either add a picture from an image search from Bing. I can pick, if I have it in my OneDrive, or if I have it uploaded from my desktop, I'll just do that right there. Okay, Office 365. And there it is. Okay. I can enter a description if I want, it's a survey. Okay. Now, all I need to do is to ask a question. When I go to ask a question, I can have a choice question, a text question, a rating question, a date. I'll just pick a choice, All right. I'm sorry. Do you like Office? Oh, what am I doing? I have ugh. Do okay. All right, there's the question. And now here is the first response is yes. Second one is no. I can add in a next one if I want. Somewhat. Okay. Now, once I can add as many options as I like. Now, down here, if I wanted to, this does not go along with this by adding points. If you have a quiz, you might want to have points, 5 points for this question, 10 points, so forth and so on. If you say that it's a requirement, you can click this, and that question needs to be answered before the response can be sent in. There are certain times, and this is not, again, not a question where you would have multiple answers, but that's all there is to it. That's part one, add a question. Okay? And again, text. What do you use, Office 365 for? Okay? And that will allow person to type in an answer. If the answer is going to be longer, you could do that, and it gives it a bigger box. Okay? And again, if you wanted to put a picture, Notice at the every time you do this, you can click on this and you can add an image. You can actually add a video. The only thing about a video, if you click on a video, notice it has to come from YouTube. That's the only limitation. And you can create your questions just that way. And when you're done, just click back here on forms and you have it all done already. Okay? That's as simple as that. Now let's take a look at the one that I created a few minutes ago. And again, you'll see that I have the questions. By the way, you can move these questions around also. That's very simple. Again, put in a video. Now, once you get done with that, and here is the important part. You are now getting ready to share it. Up on top, you hit share. Now, there are two options here. It will be set at first to only people in my organization can respond. And if you leave it at that, somebody will have to log in with their Microsoft account before they can respond to this. But if you're going to do it with the kids, you want to change it to anyone with a link can respond, okay? Now, how do they get the link? Well, you can do it a number of different ways. As I said before, you can put a QR code, and I think there is the QR code. If anybody has a smartphone, you can click on that and it will take you to the test survey, whatever you want to call it. Okay, now here is the link as I sent to Raj. I don't know, did you get that, Raj?
Immediately, yes. You press enter, I got it.
Okay, good. All right, but here is the, again, embed, okay? An embed is pretty simple to do, okay? If you're not familiar with that, we can show you how to do it, but what I did, the embed part is putting it into a web page like this so that you can respond right now, okay? And you can do all of the questions. Now notice it says it's, for some reason it says it's anonymous, and then my first question says, what's your name? Okay, again, you may select more than one. I like all of them, so I can, you can collect all of them if you want. What's one tool you would like to learn more about? Okay. Sway. Okay, you can only pick one there. Did you notice? Have you downloaded it? Yes. Okay, I'm just doing this real quickly. Have you visited the Microsoft page? And I thought I had put the link there, but I didn't. And you can put yes there. And again, have you viewed any? And you can watch this, and it's a minute-long video that I inserted there. Hit yes, and then hit submit. Okay, now, if I went back to my Microsoft Forms and went to my responses, notice I have one response. And there is all kinds of, you'll get all kinds of information dealing with the responses. And that would be useful to you as the teacher. Again, notice it says latest response was from, oh, Raj answer. So now I have two responses, see? And if I wanted to, I can even open it up. I'm hoping it opens up. It says we're opening it in Excel.
Yeah, and I think this answers what Dave and I are chatting about behind the scenes here.
Okay. I don't see my Excel. Oh, I see, here it is right here.
Right.
I've got to click and open it. And it opens, you can get an Excel. You can get all kinds of feedback and, to the information here. And it shows, notice it says, the email is anonymous, but your name isn't. Okay, that's why they call it anonymous. See, and again, you can get the various feedback to the questions. And that's, again, pretty useful. Going through it very, very quickly, and just trying to give you a kind of a little overview. If you are interested in this, and especially if you are interested in, say, hey, I want to know how to embed, when the survey comes out, and you do the survey, please mark that down, and next week I can show you how to embed very, very simply. It's a matter of 1 minute, 2 minutes maximum. It's a very simple thing to do. But Microsoft Forms is so very, very useful. And they're, again, coming out with there are so many things here. Boy, Roger and I started messing around with Teams too. That's going to be something that I think you will find very useful as well. So, Raj, was there something you wanted to add before I switch over to you about forms?
Switch over to me and I'll show you.
Okay, I will switch over to you. Sharing. I will change the presenter. No, I didn't want to. Oh, yes, it did. It's been a little recalcitrant on my part here tonight, too. So there you are.
Okay. Picking right up where Gene has left us, Gene sent me the link in my school email, which I copy and pasted. I am in Office 365. I'm in my OneNote. And that's where I said quickly, I don't think I even answered all the questions, Gene, but
I understand.
I quickly took your quiz, but I copy and pasted the link. So I'm not embedding it here in OneNote, but borrowing on what our earlier conversation was with David and using this in class, when we get students, when we get more people using Office 365 in particular, I mean, they're already using Word, PowerPoint. Okay, the Office 365 additional features, forms and Sway, but more than anything, I think the greatest impact is going to be in OneNote. So we have kids working in OneNote in our class, and we can push out, as Dave was talking earlier, that push out assignments to kids. You could push out a link. And in this link, takes us, I'm going to click it now, it's going to go right to, I didn't erase that. I wanted to erase my drawing tool. Doesn't matter.
It adds a little bit.
Yeah, here is the form that, let's see if I can erase all the drawings there. Okay. Here is the form survey, but this could be in the form of a checking for understanding quiz. It could be a number of things. It could be a little reflection survey that the kids take after completing an assignment of anything. It'd be writing, math, and so on, and quickly get those immediate results, either share out with the kids or take a look at them just to see where you are with a given point that you were trying to make with your students. But this is the link, and what did it take us? Seconds.
Oh,
I had my OneNote open because I wanted to talk a little bit about OneNote because we were talking about Office 365 and the suite of tools. I don't know if we're ready to go to Teams yet.
I don't know.
And go to it.
It's exciting and it has a lot of good stuff, but yeah, you're right.
There's a whole lot that's got to happen with that. Right now we're dabbling, and if we can get more people just using OneNote personally for professional development and so on. Obviously I'm a great collector, and this is my OneNote, and I have a couple of other OneNote notebooks, as we've over-explained it in the past, but think of a 3-ring binder as a OneNote notebook. And within your binder, you have dividers. These are all dividers. And with any individual divide, you have pages down here on the left. And you can have, I think, and it's a big number, an infinite number of dividers, sections in your notebook, and you can have an infinite number of pages. I tend to collect an awful lot of stuff. And the nice thing is, another further aside, most of my pages go into, there's like a collecting area. You can send stuff to your OneNote notebook from your smartphone. That's where most of this stuff has come from. And here are my quick notes. As I say, that's the collecting point. These are all individual pages where I throw stuff. And then once you've collected them, you can then move them into another section in your notebook. And I'd like to do some workshops on this and get people starting to use this just personally and professionally for collecting things, and show you how to do that. I'm going to my browser right now. I'm going to go to, okay, there's something else I was going to talk about tonight. The standards for teachers, the ISTE, the International Society for Technology and Education, the MegaMall, the mothership of technology integration, and collection of standards. We have the Common Core standards. We have also the standards for educators. We have standards for students. We have standards for administrators and coaches. These are all things that are, well, expected. We should be able to do these. We should be able to meet all of these standards. But here I have this, I found this on a web page. Let's say I'm in my browser, which I am now, as Gene mentioned, the Chrome, with my various extensions and my various apps and so on. So I'm going back to my browser here. Where were we? We were on the, well, just something at the back arrow, I guess. I want this page in my OneNote notebook. Up here is an extension that I'll hover over it and say, it'll clip this page to my OneNote notebook. Actually, I'm going to pick another page. Borrowing on what you were talking about earlier, Gene, safe search engines for kids, DuckDuckGo isn't listed. But we're familiar with DuckDuckGo. It's not really oriented towards kids. Now you're in your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade classroom. What are some of the safe search engines for kids? And as Gene pointed out, it is not Google. Not that it's unsafe, it's just that you get barraged with millions of responses and hits and all the other garbage that comes with a Google search engine. Why is it free? Well, it's not free. If you invested 10 seconds in a search term, you have made a lot of people a lot of money based on just what you're looking for. But we want to work safely in our classroom. Of course, there's Bing, which comes with the Microsoft Windows and so on, and it's tailored to make searching safer, more educationally sound. But there are a number of other search engines, as you can see here. Coincidentally, my 7-year-old granddaughter was sitting in my lap on my iPad today, searching things on Kiddle. In her classroom, it's a second grade classroom, when they are looking for information related to a given topic, etc., she's using something called Kiddle. And there are others. Kiddos, Kid Information, Kids Click, and so on. I don't know enough about any one of these to recommend one over another, but the larger issue is searching. Are kids being taught how to search the internet for information, how to validate it, how to make sure the response is appropriate to the kind of knowledge or information that they're seeking. That goes back to a larger discussion about our curriculum. I can't say I've searched for it, looked for it, not to make a pun, but where in our written curriculum do we teach overtly, explicitly, how to conduct an internet search using any search engine? What are all those things? And we know, and we've talked about it in the past, there are any number of ways to use Google itself to filter information, to get more finite responses back for what you're looking. Where in our curriculum is that occurring? I don't know. If it's not there, it needs to be there. And if it's there, I want to find it and start working with people on that, because so much of what we do now is information based and information coming from, you know, the internet at large and so on. But all I need now, I want this page. I'll go back to where I started all this. I want to clip this page into my OneNote notebook. When I say I want to clip it, it gives me these options. Like, do I want the page, the whole page? Do I want to clip just a region of it? This would give me a little crosshairs to go and pick up what I want. Do I want the article itself? The whole thing would go into my notebook. Or do I just simply want the bookmark? I'm going to choose now safely. I just want to put the bookmark into my OneNote. Now it's asking me, all right, what is the location of the notebook that you want to place it in? These are the tabs that we're looking at in my OneNote. Okay. And down below are some other notebooks that I have. These are all additional notebooks that I've created with the same setup with tabs and so on. I'm going to put it into the Immersive Reader tab, which is what we were just looking at. And I'm going to say, go ahead and clip it. I get a little response back that it's doing it. And if I want to now, I can go right to and look at that clip in my OneNote, which will also open on my desk down here, but it's reopening it. And there it is. That's a little different view. And here are all of those tabs, a little different view because it opened it online here. But there's the article, there's the web address, and there's just a little blurb about it. So you can be clipping these things. If you put that little extension in your web browser, you've got a whole lot of easy, convenient ways to collect stuff, more than just simply bookmarking it, because now it's in my OneNote. I can annotate this. I can start typing another place on this page and say, this is what I want to, maybe show these search engines. I'm going to back up here, put this at the end. So now this is live. I'm going to say, I want to demonstrate each one of these sites, and maybe with the students, say, everybody take one of these sites, or take all of them, or you put a group together that's going to work with Kiddle. Somebody else is going to work with another one, and give them a specific term to search on and see what the different results are when they get it back, and maybe make a point about searching and so on. But it's so easy to simply go and work within your OneNote. Notice the familiar ribbon up here with is common to most of the Microsoft products. This is OneNote Online, and it's sitting there just waiting for you to work with. In my Immersive Reader, that's the other thing we're going to, and I keep talking about this because it is, I'm going to close that one and bring up this version of OneNote over here. and go into my Immersive Reader page here. And this is something that I've been demonstrating at some of the parent nights gatherings for talking about the district technology. And this is something I think we can get into very quickly in a number of classrooms. We're talking about, look, this is kind of a, this is an attention-getting headline. One of the most disruptive education technologies yet. That got my attention, okay? But what it's talking about is learning tools, which is now built into OneNote, and it's one of your tabs across here. You'll see the other familiar home, insert, et cetera, because this is OneNote. It's got a couple of different options. We're going to take a look at the learning tools, and I've demonstrated this before. What we're going to take a look at is something called the Immersive Reader. This article about the Immersive Reader can simply be read back. Now, I've demonstrated this a couple of times. By pressing this play button, you're going to hear, or you would hear, a male or a female voice, depending on your selection. Do you want Microsoft Zira, or do you want Microsoft David? And there are, notice here, you can download more voices. This is part of those updates that Gene is talking about that Microsoft does, just adding to the versatility and to the robustness, if there is such a word, of the individual tools. But this is now, you won't hear it, unfortunately, but we've demonstrated it before. I'm going to just scroll down to some more text. And you'll see what happens as it reads. It's highlighting the words as they are read, and it's a very robot sounding reader, as many of them are. It's not like Siri, or I have to be quiet, Alexa, because she responds to everything you say. But it is oriented around, and what you can do then is, and we've shown this, you can change the background. You can change the spacing between words. Notice that shrinks it up. You can change the font. You can change the size of the font. So depending on an age group or, say, a reading issue that a student might have, you can go into another area of the reading tool, the little books all leaning on each other here. You can say, I would like to break the words up into syllables. If you're working on with a student who has some sight word issues, or maybe sounding out words and word attack and so on. If you're working with students on a different level, maybe it is a writing assignment or something. I said, you know what, let's take a look at all the nouns we used in this passage that you wrote. And it highlights the nouns in purple. Now that we've got the nouns, let's also take a look at the verbs. And they're in red. And the adjectives, or single them all out as they are read. You can focus on the line. There are a number of ways that simply a student can manage this. And any text that you can put in your OneNote. And learning tools, the Immersive Reader is available in Microsoft Word and now in PowerPoint. And if it's not here, it may also already be in Excel, though I'm not sure why you would use it there, but I'm willing to find out and learn something there. But it's called Learning Tools, and it looks different in the different applications as you use them. It might not be a tab. It's a little area over here down in the toolbar that indicates it. Notice here also, with this version of OneNote, which is the installed version, you can dictate and you can choose the language. So a student could write a passage, could dictate it word for word on the page, and then have it read back. And they could hear for purposes of revision and so on, work on it that way. So this is powerful, but really, quite believe me, it's simple. It's pretty much what have I done but point and clicked on the different issues. Here is down here, I'll point to it again. There's the website I clipped from my Chrome browser. There it is already in my OneNote, and it's a link. Clicking on it would take me right to that link. So it's a way of collecting them, and then you start using your tabs to organize all the different sections of your electronic 3-ring binder. And I've got a number of different tabs here. This is the one I use the most. And it's free. You can get a free OneNote and sign into it on an iPad, on a smartphone. You can take I'm going to go here. I was at a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we were doing an exercise in the meeting, and let's see, model goals, if I can find, together the group created a vision statement. So what I did with my phone and a little app called Office Lens, I took a picture of the whiteboard of the completed statement. We did an exercise. You've done this in workshops where you put poster paper around the room. I used my phone, took pictures of all of the individual passages, and sent them up to my OneNote notebook just so I'd make sure I had them rather than waste a lot of time trying to copy them into my notebook. I can grab them very quickly here, and so on. So OneNote, I think, is the place to start personally, and then we start working with groups of kids in the classroom. You can, as we're learning now, you can share things with kids, push things out to your students. It may be a form, one of those that you create for checking for understanding and so on. And there are a whole lot of other nice versatile things you can do with your OneNote. And it's free. It's part of your Office 365. I'm going to minimize that. If I go into my Office 365, there it is. That's the Office. That's OneNote Online, in addition to the other things, whether you're using this or, as Gene did, his Office Online extension here, it gets you to the same place. So, Gene, anything you want to follow up with or comment on?
Well, one thing that you had mentioned, well, I don't know. Have you more, or shall I take the screen back, or?
Let me just check my notes. I had a lot more, but I'll save it because we got about 10 minutes left. I was going to go into, we talked a couple of weeks ago, that the photos, Microsoft.
Oh yeah, we could do a whole evening. That would be a great thing.
I did a real quick movie this afternoon with still photos that here and so on here. It's showing. But again, it takes more than, I don't want to rush through it.
Yeah, I think that would be a good thing for almost a whole evening. Yeah.
And I uploaded a video I did, but I say, well, that is easily done another time. So you want to take it back and finish us off with?
All right. Well, I have a couple of things. One of them is very kind of interesting. One of the websites that I just added to my Flipboard tonight, strangely enough, was one called 11 Great Kids website, kid-safe websites to go along with yours. And they have some ad-free websites, and then they have some ad supported search engines, and underneath they have a list. And again, these are really good. These are for more I would say a lot of these are the younger kids. Okay. Um, You'll notice that DuckDuckGo is mentioned in here. It's not necessarily designed for kids, but it offers features that again, without compromising information, so forth and so forth. So again, I just noticed that that was one of the things that I was going to mention, that we had quite a few of those to go along with that DuckDuckGo. That's kind of cool. One other site that article that I saw that reminded me that maybe we should mention too, again, going along with the Office 365, is not only are they constantly updating and adding, new things to the programs themselves, but they do a lot of the work for you. This site here, article here, dealt with the templates that are available in Office for you to download free and use. And again, the old why and reinvent the wheel, they're here. They have things that you can download very easily, adapt them to your needs. For example, calendars for, I know we're in the second month of the year, but you might need a calendar. I mean, they have all kinds of calendars that you might find useful. These certain calendars that you can then go in and add information on certain days. You may just want a calendar for your family, a photo calendar, things like that. There are all kinds of different calendars, all kinds of different templates that you can download for free, and you can get to it very, very easily if you open up, say, Word. One of your PowerPoint will do it, but when you go here and go to New, and right up at the top, I mean, you can search for online templates. I'm sure everybody's seen it. You'll see some of the ones that are, they change the ones here from time to time. That these are also online that you can download. They put them up here and highlight them. Okay, most of us click on that blank document when we do it, but if you ever need, just to show you, certificates, for example, again, there are lots of different certificates. I'm going very quickly. Okay,
is one of them a PhD?
No. But yeah, again, I mean, they're very simple. If you click on it, it'll show elementary award certificate. Well, yeah, it's kind of, and look, it opens. I mean, I'm in my Word. Here it is. I can go in. I can change anything I want. I put a school name. I can change it, and then I don't have to create these certificates and these things myself. Again, Microsoft has a plethora, I think that means a whole bunch of them, and you can go there and find them. And if you are needing something, a certain kind of file, a certain template, go to File, New, and search for it up here. You can even click on certain areas. Here's education, and it will give you certain topics that you might want to. Weekly assignment sheet, certain educational templates that you might wish to use. You'll notice that there are 250 in education, that are designated as educational templates. And I mean, you can just, they give you all these various keywords that you can look under. But I'm just, going down here. Some of those are the certificates we've talked about, things like that. please turn off your cell phone, okay? That's important technology, or educational one. But again, lots of templates so that you don't have to necessarily create your own stuff, okay? We have, what, about 2 more minutes? Okay. You know, just to show you there was one other thing, and I can't remember. Oh, hey, it's the Olympics. This gets a little bit, I've looked, okay. View on YouTube. Okay. YouTube has a channel of various videos dealing with science and the Winter Olympics that you might want to take a look at, you know, and there's some pretty good things here that kids might be interested in. Again, the physics of curling. I know you're all interested in curling so much, so, but again, this is something going along with the Olympics, so you might want to take a look at that. They're going, boy, again, I have so much other myself too, you know, so many other things you want to show that, you know. That,
I'm not going to grab the screen back, Gene, but on a couple of our very favorite, over the years, websites, Read, Write, Think. Has a whole group of lessons built around the Olympics, and Science Net Links, the same thing. So if you go to either of those, and I'll put those up on the web page this week when I get the video. That you might want, because we got, you know, almost 2 weeks of more of the Olympics to deal with.
Yeah, there you go.
Do some things. And just reacquaint yourself. Even Valentine's Day coming shortly. There's a whole bunch of stuff on that as well. But I'll put them up on, Read, Write, Think, Science Net Links, as well as many of the others. But it's very searchable lessons and resources for finding any of these themes.
Okay, yeah, good idea. I hadn't thought of that. That's all. Read, Write, Think is a great place, and that they have some.
Yeah, there you go. There's the whole Winter Olympics group of lessons, and searchable, grade level, standard oriented. The whole thing are all there.
Okay. Hey, and with that, I think we've just about reached the end of the evening. So thank you for joining us again. Let us know again if you're interested in learning more about forms or something like that. Let us know. We'd be glad to you know, extend that. Or if you have any other interests, you know, on the survey, please let us know so we can plan, you know, to talk about these things. Would rather talk about things that you need or want or are interested in. So please do let us know.
I'd like to do a lot more with OneNote and
yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, maybe even some classes. You know, that would be great. So with that, thank you. Don't forget the survey will be coming out in an hour or so in the next couple days. Log on, click onto the survey, and then the thank you note, and then click onto the survey and complete that if you would, please.
Yes, and hopefully I'll join you next week from the happiest place on earth. I don't know if I can show my screen, but we're going to play with that over the week and see what happens. I was able to send myself messages back and forth in my pseudonym to me to my real self. So I think we might have something worth doing next week.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, we hope to see you next week, Raj, and hope to see all of you next week as well. So thank you very much. Have a great week, everybody.
Yes. Good night, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, yes. Happy Valentine's Day.
To everyone.
And happy President's Day. Whatever that meant.
All but one. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Well, hey, take care. Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.